Hello students. So in the last class we have discussed regarding the human skeletal system, right? What are the bones, different parts of the human skeletal system in detail we have studied. So next we'll move on to the pelvic girdle. So last we have discussed pectoral girdle and the bones which are associated with the pectoral girdle. And next we'll move on to the pelvic girdle. Okay, so pelvic girdle, or it is also called as hip girdle. It is formed by the innominate bones. Okay, innominate bones, that is coxal bones. They are commonly known as coxal bones. Each coxal bone, it is formed by the fusion of three bones. In pelvic girdle, it is generally formed by the fusion of three bones. One is known as ilium, ischium, and pubis. Ilium, ischium, and pubic, or the pubis will say generally. At the point of fusion of the above bones is a cavity, and the cavity we call it as an acetabulum. The point or the fusion of these bones, generally it will take place at a particular point, or which we commonly say as a cavity. The cavity is known as acetabulum cavity, to which the thigh bones are articulates. Fine. So we'll see one by one what are its functions. So first one is the ilium. So ilium, it is a short and straight bone forming the upper broadest part of the coxa and prominence. And the ischium is the elongated bone running parallel to the vertebral column. Okay. Ischium is the longest bone and it runs parallel to the vertebral column. It forms the medial portion of the lower vertebra of the coxa. It forms the medial portion. So here you can see this is a coxal bone, fine, and this is the ilium. Coxal bone and it is a ilium. So what is the function of this ilium? It's a short and straight bone forming the upper broadest part of the coxa and the prominence. It forms the broadest part, and the ischium, it is an elongated bone. It runs parallel to the vertebral column, and it forms the median and the lower part. It forms the lower part, and pubis, it is smaller bone and it forms the anterior portion and lower part of the coxa of the hip region. Fine. Ilium, ischium, and the pubic. Ilium, ischium, and the pubic. So here you can say this is a short and the broadest part of the coxal ilium, and this is the pubis and ischium bones, lower to the coxa region. Fine. Coxal bone, lower to this bone is the ilium and the ischium. Right. This is clear. Ilium, pubis, and the ischium, these are the pelvic girdle bones. Next comes the obturator foramen. So this obturator foramen, it is present as large oval gap between the pubis and the ischium. Okay, it is present between the pubis and the ischium. It's the gap which is present between the pubis part and the ischium part. The foramen, it forms the passage from nerves and the blood vessels. What this foramen will do? So generally it will form the passage for the nerves and the blood vessels. It makes a way for the passage of nerves and the blood vessels. The two halves of the pelvic girdles, they meet ventrally to form the pubis symphysis, which is containing the fibrous cartilage. The two halves of pelvic girdles, they meet ventrally. Okay. Here they meet they fuses together. The two halves of pelvic girdle, they meet ventrally to form the pubic symphysis, which is containing the fibrous cartilage. Then the pelvic girdle, it serves in several important functions. Okay, so pelvic girdle it plays a very important role in our body, as it supports the weight of the body from the vertebral column. First, what does it will do? It will provide some support. It provides a support the weight of the body. It will provide a support to maintain the weight of the body from the vertebral column, and it also protects and support the lower organs. It will give the protection and support to the lower organs, including the urinary bladder, reproductive organs, and the developing facts in the pregnant woman. So pelvic girdle, it plays a very important role. First, it helps in providing the support for maintaining the body weight, and second one, it protects and support to the lower organs, including the urinary bladder and the reproductive organs, and also the developmental fibers in the pregnant woman. Okay, so these are the important functions which is carried out by the pelvic girdle. Fine. Then apart from this, the pelvic girdle, it differs between the men and the women. Pelvic girdle differs in men and women. In men, the pelvic is more massive. In women, the pelvic is more delicate. Pelvic region in man, it is more massive, and whereas in case of woman, it is very much delicate. The difference reflects the woman's role in pregnancy and delivery of the children. Fine. So far ನಾವು ಏನು ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲತ್ತೀವಿ, ಪೆಲ್ವಿಕ್ ಗರ್ಡಲ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲತ್ತೀವಿ, ಹೌದಾ. ಸೊ ಪೆಲ್ವಿಕ್ ಗರ್ಡಲ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಏನದ, ಇಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಅನ್ ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ರೋಲ್. ಪೆಲ್ವಿಕ್ ಗರ್ಡನ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ 3 bones, 3 bones ಇದಾವೆ, 3 types of bones it is having. One is ilium, ischium, and another one is the pubis. Fine. ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು ಇದ್ರ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಏನದ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಇನ್ ಮೇಂಟೈನಿಂಗ್ ದಿ ಬಾಡಿ ವೇಟ್ ಮೇಂಟೈನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಲೋವರ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್ ಈಗ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, ಲೈಕ್ ಯೂರಿನರಿ ಬ್ಲಾಡರ್ ಇಂದ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆರ್ಗನ್ಸ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಪ್ರೆಗ್ನೆಂಟ್ ವುಮನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಅದು ಏನು ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ ಫೀಟಸ್ದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು ಪೆಲ್ವಿಕ್ ಗರ್ಡಲ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಮೇಲ್ಸ್ನೊಳಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಸ್ಟ್ರಾಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತು ಮ್ಯಾಸಿವ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಡೆಲಿಕೇಟ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, that's about the pelvic girdle. So you can see the different parts which are associated with the pelvic girdle. This is a coxal bone, and this is here, this is sacrum, ilium, pubis, and the ischium, and this is a femur. It is the longest bone in the body, and patella, and this is the tibia, fibula, tarsal, metatarsal, and phalanges. These are the bones. Okay, this part we'll discuss later. Hope this region pelvic girdle is clear to you. So next comes the bones, limb bones. So again, the limbs are of 2 types. One is forelimb and another one is the hand limbs. Forelimbs and hand limbs. Forelimbs ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೈಗಳ ಬೆರಳಿಗೆ forelimbs ಅಂತೀವಿ, ಕಾಲ್ ಬೆರಳಿಗೆ hand limbs ಅಂತೀವಿ. Okay, forelimbs ಮತ್ತು hand limbs. So bones of forelimbs. So again, each forelimb it consists of 30 bones. Each forelimbs it consists of 30 bones, and the humerus or the arm bone, humerus or arm bone, it is the upper arm. It is the longest and the largest bone of the upper limb. And the upper limb kaidaga enirtadre humerus, it is the longest and the largest bone of the humerus, upper limbs naga. Then it articulates proximally with scapula and distantly at the elbow with both ulna and the radius. Fine. It articulates with both radius and the ulna. Here you can say this is the humerus, and it articulates with both. It's connected to the both radius and the ulna. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಮೇಜ್ ನಿಮಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ಲತ್ತದ ಹ್ಯೂಮರಸ್ ಯಾವುದು ಮತ್ತು ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಅಲ್ನಾ. ಓಕೆ, humerus, it's the longest bone, and it articulates proximally with scapula and distantly at the elbow with each ulna and the radius. Then it is characterized by the presence of dilated tuberosity for the attachment of the muscles attachment ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಏನದ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, it is humerus, it is characterized by the atrial foramen. The head of the humerus articulates with the glenoid cavity of pectoral girdle. It articulates with glenoid cavity of the pectoral girdle. Glenoid cavity of the pectoral girdle, here you can see this region. It articulates with the pectoral girdle. It articulates with the glenoid cavity of the pectoral girdle. Then radius is present towards the thumb side, and the ulna is present towards the little finger sides. Thumb side, radius thumb side region ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಅಲ್ನ ಫಿಂಗರ್ಸ್ ಲಿಟಲ್ ಫಿಂಗರ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದು ಎರಡದು ರೀಜನ್ ಅದ. ದೆನ್ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ನಾ ಇಸ್ ಲಾರ್ಜರ್. ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಸಣ್ಣದಿರ್ತದೆ, ಅಲ್ನಾ ದೊಡ್ಡದಿರ್ತದೆ. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ನಾ ಇಸ್ radius is small. Just a minute. Okay, radius is small and ulna is larger. Okay. Next comes the other different processes which are associated with bones. First is styloid process. Here you can see that in this process it is generally present in the distal end of the ulna and the radius. This process, it is present where? It is present in the distal end of the ulna and the radius. Okay. Next, olecranon process, it is present in the ulna and proximally from which the prominence of the elbow. Next, trochlear notch, it is formed by ulna, which is also known as sigmoid notch. It is also known as sigmoid notch. Next, carpals or wrist bone or carpals. They are 8 in number and it is joined to one another by the ligaments. And carpals are arranged in 2 rows with 4 bones in each row. They are arranged by 2 rows with 4 bones in each. Fine. So metacarpals are 5 in number and phalanges are 14 in numbers. So phalangeal formula is 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. Okay. Carpals, metacarpals and phalangeals. Here you can see the styloid process of the radius. Here you can see the carpals, metacarpals, and these are the phalanges. Okay, hope the 4 limbs of bones are clear. So limbs of bones, generally it is made up of humerus, it's the longest bone, which generally it is present, it is characterized by the presence of dilatory tarsals, which helps in, provides an strength attachment to the muscles. Okay. Next, these are the different parts. Next, bones of hind limbs. So again here the bones of lower limbs, that is the hind limbs of man, are thigh or femur, that is one bone. Thigh or the femur, thigh bone is a femur, it is having one bone. Knee, the kneecap it is having, which is the kneecap bone is a patella, it is having one bone, it is made up of one bone. And in the legs it is having 2, one is tibia and fibula, both it is made up of 2 bones. That is ankle, it is made up of 7 tarsals, that is 7 bones are present. Then sole, it is having 5 metatarsals, 5 bones. And phalangeal formula is 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, total 40 bones. So it is 30 bones. Okay. Next, the bone of upper limb, that is 4 limbs for man. Arm, brachium, that is a humerus, 1. Forearm, antebrachium, radius plus ulna, 2 bones. Wrist and the carpals, 4 plus 4 carpals, that is 8 bones. And the palm, metacarpals, 5 metacarpals and 5 bones. Then fingers, that is phalangeal formula, 2, 3, 3, 3, that is 14 bones. Okay. Then the femur. Femur is the longest, largest and the strongest bone of the body. It is the longest bone of the body. Fine. Fovea capitis is a depression in head of the femur. It's capitis, it's a region where it is attached to the femur, and femur is known as the bone of thigh. It is a thigh bone. It is known as the bone of thigh. Then greater trochanter, lesser trochanter, and the third trochanter, they are present in the femur of the thigh and the buttocks muscles. Okay. Then patialar groove is found in the distal end of the femur, and it forms the kneecap, and it also forms the sesamoid bones. And fibula is also an example for the sesamoid bones. Okay, you see where they are present. So these are the important bones here. Tibia, it is a large and it is also known as shine bone. It is also known as shine bone. It bears weight of the body. It bears the weight of the body. Then fibula, it is a smaller and it is associated with the knee joints. Then tarsal bones, they are 7 and the metatarsals are 5. Phalanges are 14 and the formula is 2, 3, 3, 3, 3. Ankle bones, they have 7 tarsals and they are arranged in the 2 rows. This is the femur. This is the structure of the femur. Here you can see the greater trochanter. This is the hip bone, and head and neck region it is. This is femur, longest bone, femur. Here you can see the kneecap, and this is the tibia, and this is the fibula. For hands it will be radius and ulna. In case of leg it is having tibia and the fibula. Okay. Here is particularly tibia and fibula. Femur. Structure where exactly this tibia and fibula are present in the legs. Next comes the joints. So again here this joints, they are structural arrangements of tissues by which the bones are joined together. Joints are very much important, right? Generally they helps in attaching to the bones. Structural arrangement of tissues by which the bones are joined together. One bone ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬೋನಿಗೆ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. One bone ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬೋನಿಗೆ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್. Fine. So joints have been classified into three major structural forms. One is fibrous joint, cartilaginous joint and synovial joint. Three different types of joints: fibrous joints, cartilaginous joints and synovial joints. Okay. So what is joints? Joint, the structural arrangement of tissues by which the bones are joined together, and they are called as joints. And generally we have got three types of joints. One is fibrous, cartilaginous and synovial. Okay, we'll see one by one. So first comes the fibrous joints. Fibrous joints are immovable or fixed joints. These do not show any movements. Fibrous joints are immovable, means they are fixed, they will not exhibit any movement due to the presence of strong and tough white cartilaginous fiber. Because of presence of strong white cartilaginous fiber, these fibrous joints, they will not move, they will not show any movements. Example, joints in tooth sockets and between the skull bones. These are the examples where they are immovable and they are fixed joints. Okay. So joints naga more types ada. One fibrous joints, cartilaginous joint ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು synovial joint ada. So fibrous joints, they are fixed joints, means they will avenu move agalla, ಒಂದೇ ಕಡೆ fix ಆಗಿರ್ತದ. Then what they will do means generally they are very much strong, very strong irtida because of presence of strong cartilaginous fiber. Fine. Second one is a cartilaginous joint. So cartilaginous joint are slightly movable joints. Cartilaginous joints ಏನದಲ್ಲ, they are slightly movable, move ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ. Okay. These joints, they generally involved, they are joined together with the help of cartilage. They are joined together with the help of cartilage, and they joined between the adjacent vertebrae in the vertebral column. In this part, the vertebral column naga ಅದು join ಆಗ್ತದೆ. Next is synovial joint. Synovial joint, they are freely movable joints and they are perfect joints in which bones are not fused with each other. Here you will find the bones are not fused, they will move, they are movable. These synovial joints, they are characterized by the presence of fluid filled synovial cavity between the articulating surface of two bones. Such an arrangement, they allows considerable movement of the nutrients and the respiratory gases, and they help for the movement of nutrients and respiratory gases. Then these joints, they help in locomotion help ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, ಮತ್ತು many other movements are also performed by this synovial joints. Fine. Next to the synovial joints, they are surrounded by the tubular articular capsule. Okay. This articular capsule, they consist of two layers: outer fibrous capsule and inner synovial membrane. Outer is a fibrous capsule and inner is the synovial membrane. Two types. Fine. The synovial membrane, generally it secretes a synovial fluid which lubricates and it provides a nourishment to the articular cartilage. So what this membrane will do? It generally lubricate and it provides a nourishment to the articular cartilage. In old age, the stiffness The stiffness of joint is due to the decrease in the synovial fluid. In old age, the stiffness of joints is due to decrease in the synovial fluids. After the old age, what happens? Completely the bone density will decrease and the bones will become more delicate. Yes or no? So here what happens? The stiffness of the joints will be decreased due to the reduce in the synovial fluid. Then the structural arrangements of the perfect joint, it permits a considerable movement of articulating bones without danger of fraction. Without any fracture, it is actually without any danger of fracture. Due to the elasticity of the ligaments of the wall of the joint capsule, the articulating bones, they automatically return back to the normal position after the movement. And the movement adunu bones ಗೆ fracture ಏನು ಆಗಲ್ಲ, it comes normal, automatically normal position ಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. Okay. So here you can see the exact position where these joints are present. One is fixed joint in the skull region and all, then cartilaginous, then synovial joints, and you can see the location also here. Yes, 3 types of joints and their location on the skeletal system. You can see little it is light, right? Hope it is clearly visible to you. Next comes the important part of these joints. Synovial joints, they are further classified according to the movement they permit, like ball and socket joint. This ball and socket joint, they are present between the humerus and the pectoral girdle. This is ball and socket joint. Ellirtadadu humerus ಮತ್ತು pectoral girdle ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದು ಅಪ್ಪರ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಈಗ pectoral girdle ಅಂತೀವಿ, ಶೋಲ್ಡರ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಈಗ ಕೆಳಗಿನ ಹಿಪ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಈಗ ಪೆಲ್ವಿಕ್ ಗರ್ಡಲ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಫೈನ್. ಸೊ ಪೆಕ್ಟೋರಲ್ ರೀಜನ್ ಮತ್ತು ಹ್ಯೂಮರಸ್, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಹ್ಯೂಮರಸ್. ಈ ಎರಡರ ಮಧ್ಯದಾಗ ಇಲ್ಲೇನು ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಬಾಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸಾಕೆಟ್ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಫೈನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅದ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನೀ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್, ಮೊಳಕಾಲ್ ಬೆಲೆ ನೀ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಪೈವೋಟ್ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ದಿ ಅಟ್ಲಾಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿ ಆಕ್ಸಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿ ಅಲ್ನಾ. ರೇಡಿಯಸ್ ಅಲ್ನಾ ಮತ್ತು ಅಟ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಆಕ್ಸಸ್ ಈ ಬೋನ್ಸ್ ಮಧ್ಯದಾಗ ಏನು ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತಲ್ಲ ಪೈವೋಟ್ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಂತೀವಿ. Next, gliding joint. This gliding joint, it is present between the carpals. Between the carpals, gliding joint is present, and between the carpals, metacarpals of thumbs, saddle joint is present. Fine. And ellipsoid and condyloid joint, wrist joint, and metacarpallary phalangeal joints. Fine. So these are the important joints, and particular organs also they are mentioned in which part they are present. Okay, ball and socket joint, hinge joint, pivot joint, gliding joint, saddle joint, etc. Fine. Okay, hope this joint is clear to you. So before moving to the disorders, just you can have a glance once again over all the different types of joints. Okay, so again in joints we have got 3 types: fibrous, cartilaginous, and synovial. Then fibrous joints, generally they are present in the tooth socket in between the skull bone. Then cartilaginous, slightly movable. Synovial joints, they are freely movable and the perfect joints. So again here these synovial joints, they plays a very important role, and they also helps in providing the nutrients and the respiratory gases. And these joints, they also helps in the locomotion and many other movements. Okay. So again here in synovial joints, we have got different joints, the movements which permit, like ball and socket joint. This is present between the humerus and pectoral, and pivot joint, hinge joint, gliding joint, and the saddle joint. These are the joints, types of joints. Then before that we have discussed regarding the bones, types of bones. Limb bones, they are the humerus or the arm bone, and it is the longest and the largest bone of the upper limb. Okay, it generally helps in the attachment to the muscles. These are the different processes. These are the different bones, list of bones. Okay, bones of upper limb or the forelimb in man. Then femur is the longest bone. Types of bones. This is a femur, structure of femur. Then tibia and fibula. Then comes to joints. Okay. Hope this part is clear to you. Yes. Okay, so next we'll move on to the last part of this chapter, that is the disorders of muscular and the skeletal system. So we'll see one by one what are the disorders. So first one is the myasthenia gravis. So myasthenia gravis, it is an autoimmune disorder. It is an autoimmune disorder, generally affects our immune system or the normal functioning of the body, we can say. It affects to the neuromuscular junction leading to the fatigue, becomes tired. It affects the neuromuscular junction and also weakening, paralysis of the skeletal muscle. Complete skeletal muscle ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ weak ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಅದು ಪ್ಯಾರಲೈಸಿಸ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ವೇ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಪ್ಯಾರಲೈಸಿಸ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ನೂ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಇದು ಮಯಸ್ಸಿನ ಗ್ರೇವಿಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ. ಫೈನ್. ಮಯಸ್ತೀನಿಯಾ gravis, it is an autoimmune disorder. It affects neuromuscular junction leading to the fatigue. Fatigue and the tired, weakening and the paralyzing of the skeletal muscles. Fine. Next, another muscular dystrophy. Muscular dystrophy, it is a progressive degeneration of skeletal muscle. Progressive degeneration of skeletal muscle. Weak ಆಗ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತದೆ. Mostly due to the genetic disorder. The genetic disorder, it may used to some genetical disorders. Next, tetany, it is a rapid spasms or widely contraction in the muscles which is due to the low calcium in the body fluid. Body fluid calcium level ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದರೆ ಇದು ಆಗ್ತದೆ tetany. ಓಕೆ, next in the arthritis. So arthritis, it is a painful condition of the joints. Painful condition of the joints. It may be preceded or accompanied by the period of fatigue and feeling of stiffness. Okay, pain ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಮೊಳ್ಕಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ಮೊಳ್ಕೈ ಭಾಳ ಪೇನ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತದೆ. Next, osteoporosis, it is also one of the hereditary disease. Generally it is characterized by decreased bone mass and increased chance of fracture. ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಆಸ್ಟಿಯೋಪೋರೋಸಿಸ್ನಾಗ ಬೋನ್ ಡೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಫ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬಿಟ್ರೇನು ಬೋನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಫ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸಿ ದಿಸ್ ಆಸ್ಟಿಯೋಪೋರೋಸಿಸ್ ಇನ್ ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಏಜ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್. ಫೈನ್. ಯಂಗ್ ಏಜ್ನಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಏಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಫಾದರ್ ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇವೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೀನ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಫ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಅಂದರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಾಲು ಜರ್ ಬಿದ್ದರೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬೆಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿದ್ರೂ ಬೋನ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಫ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ಚರ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಹೌದಾ? ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಡ್ಯೂ ಟು ದಿಸ್ osteoporosis. This decreased level of estrogen is a common cause. ಇದು ಯಾಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಈಸ್ಟ್ರೋಜನ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, one reason. Fine. Next, another gout. So this gout, it is the accumulation of uric acid crystals. It's mainly due to the accumulation of uric acid crystals in the region of joints, which results in the painful movement. This gout, it results in the painful movement, where it is mainly due to the accumulation of uric acid crystals in the region of joints. Next, another sprain and the fractures. So sprain, it refers to injury to the joint capsule. It refers to injury to the joint capsule and typically involving the stretching and the tearing of tendons and the ligaments. Generally this sprain ಯಾಕಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಟೆಂಡಾನ್ಸ್ and the ligaments tear ಆಯಿತು while stretching and all, then the sprain will occur. Injury ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಹೌದಾ? Unfortunately, both these structures they have much poor regenerative power than the bones. Regenerative capacity ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಇದರೊಳಗೆ. ಹೌದಾ? Then ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು once stretched, they often remain weak. So sprain is often considered as a minor disorder, but it may become chronic. ಅಂದರೆ it may extend ಭಾಳ ದಿವಸ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರ್ತದೆ. Fine, that's the sprain. So again, what is the sprain? It mainly refers to the injury to the joint capsule. It's involving mainly stretching and the tearing of tendons and the ligaments. So unfortunately both these structures they have much poorer regenerative power than the bones. Regenerative capacity kadmiyana and once stretched often remain weak. Fine. This sprain is often considered as a minor disorder but it may become chronic. Next and the last one is a fracture. So fracture is a break of bone. Bone break ಆಗೋ chances ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. Then the fracture occurs rarely in children. It occurs rarely in children and the bones of children they have large quantity of organic matter. They have got very large organic matter. Therefore they are very flexible and less likely to be break. So ಸಣ್ಣ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಆಗೋ ಚಾನ್ಸಸ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಹೌದಾ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಾಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ವಿತ್ advising age the mineral also counts a lot. Mineral matter calcium phosphates is also deposited in the bones. This decreases the organic matter and making the bones harder and brittle. Completely bone ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ due to the deposition of this calcium phosphate the bones will become more hard and brittle. So thus the old people are most liable to the fracture and the bones. So old age time ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಫ್ರಾಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗೋದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಭಾಳ ಇರ್ತಾವೆ when compared to the early age. Is it clear? So these are the disorders of muscular and the skeletal system. Hope it is clear to you. So just you can have a glance once again. The disorders of skeletal muscle one is myasthenia gravis, muscular dystrophy, tetany, arthritis, osteoporosis, gout, sprain and the fracture. Okay, hope it is clear to you all these concepts.